ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम गंगणपते नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। सर्वमंगलमांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके देवी नारायणी नमोस्तुते। वामे यस्य स्थिता राधा श्रीश्च यस्यास्ति वक्षसि वृंदावन विहारं तं श्रीकृष्णं हृदि चिन्तये। श्रीकृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो नारायणाय। ओम नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय। Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 4th of February 2026. I want to offer my prostrations, Anantakoti Namaskaram, to Paramatma Bhagavan residing in the Hridaya Akash, in the heart of every single being. We're picking up from yesterday further on Shantarati. So I'm not going to repeat the things that I spoke already in several days. Please refer to the past recordings for that information so that we can continue our analysis and our understanding further. Now, so in Shantarati, there is the lens of Tattva. I'll explain what this means. Seeing things as they are. The approach of the Shanta devotee, Shanta meaning very peaceful, contemplative, connecting with the Tattva that is God, the substance, not a physical substance. I mean, physical substance is also part of God, Bhagavan. But the actual Chaitanya Tattva that we are, that Paramatma is. So the Shanta devotee approaches Bhagavan just like a scientist approaches the laws of physics, or a subject approaches an emperor. You know, you have an emperor, big king, top, and then all the subjects, all the different common people, they approach with reverence, like this. So there is this reverential attitude because the Shanta mind that has become steady and still and harmonious and very beautiful, but has become steady in the Swarup of Paramatma, has what is called Aishwarya Buddhi. So Aishwarya Buddhi, Aishwarya means what? Opulence, control, majesty. God has Purna Aishwarya. Bhagavan ka Aishwarya kaisa hai? So let's look at this Aishwarya Buddhi. When the Bhakta is increasing 9 forms of devotion, different forms of devotion, and there is Shantarati, in the Shantarati, there is Aishwarya Buddhi by recognizing the manifested world. For example, Ananta Koti Brahmandik, infinite number of galaxies, so many different life forms, beings, this, that. Kitna Aishwarya Bhagavan ka? Ananta. So there's reverence that you are the one who is infinite Aishwarya. Like the Vibhuti Yoga in the Gita, things like that. You know, so just by observing the galaxies through telescopes and microscopes, and then the microscopic level, macroscopic level, also who we are, it is all considered to be Aishwarya. But this word should be understood carefully. It is Aishwarya of Bhagavan. It's not like some yogic Aishwarya that some Siddhi has come, not that kind of Aishwarya. That is also coming from God. But that's not what this refers to. This refers to Paramatma ka Aishwarya. So the Aishwarya Buddhi opens. Buddhi meaning intelligence, intellect, understanding of that Aishwarya. And as a result of that, the intellect is fixed on the Godhood of God. Understand what that means? The Godhood meaning Bhagavan Swami hai. You know, Swami Narayan ka meaning hi ye hai. Actually, original meaning is this. Swami means the supreme king, controller. Like in the Bible, Old Testament, Elohim. The word is Elohim. It's a supreme being, the supreme controller, the supreme person, if you want to say it that way. Purushottama, out of all the Purushas, the Uttama Purusha. Chapter 15 of the Gita. This is called the Godhood of God. Godhood means what? Aishwarya. Sarvatantra Samartha. So the intellect is fixed. जो बुद्धि जो है in Shantarati, It is fixed on the Aishwarya of Paramatma, कि भगवान कितने महान हैं. Like this. How does that happen? It can happen in many ways. Scientific study is complementary to that. Scriptural study, the Shraddha, Nishtha, faith that develops, and then from that the names are taken. Bhagwan ka naam, like Vishnu Sahasranam, is a lot about Aishwarya, Vishnu Sahasranam. So that grows, that Mahima grows, and the connection is this way, and the devotee becomes very steady inside, is fixated. That steadiness is a fixation on the Aishwarya of Paramatma. Not that the devotee wants Aishwarya, but is worshipping Paramatma, Bhagwan, due to the Aishwarya. That Bhagwan ka Aishwarya kitna hai. Wow, wow, wow. It's amazing, 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 amazing. It's just unending amazement. This is called the fixation on the Godhood of God. This is called Aishwarya Buddhi. This is our word for today. So under Shantarati, what is the state of the Bhakta? The Bhakta has Aishwarya Buddhi. Very interesting. So the devotees focuses on God's governing attributes rather than his personal attributes. Those personal attributes are in the Madhurya Rasa, other rasas that come later on. But the governing attribute, kitni takat hai, like, just like the President of the United States or President of India, President of Canada, the presidents jo hai, Prime Ministers, Presidents, they have Aishwarya in this world, right? I mean, that's what people are chasing after, whatever. For some limited time they have that Aishwarya. Thoda kuch Aishwarya milta hai unko. Certain authority they have, certain power they have. All kinds of powers they have to do so much. So Bhagwan jo hai, वो सर्वतंत्र समर्थ है, वो is शक्तिमान, उनके पास अनंत शक्ति है. That Shakti is Shri Radha, Shri Radha Rani, और शक्तिमान है श्री कृष्ण. और जो शक्ति है, जो शक्तिमान के पास जो शक्ति है, वो अनंत है. तो भगवान कृष्ण भी वो राधा जी की उपासना करते हैं. राधा जी कृष्ण की उपासना करते हैं. वो एक ही है, इट्स नॉट टू. एक ही तत्व है, शक्ति एंड शक्तिमान. सो भगवान की शक्ति कैसी है? अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड. अक्षर ब्रह्म के एक रोम, गुजराती में केवू है, एक अक्षर ना एक रोम में अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड अणुनी पेटे फर्या करे छे. Like anu means atomic. They are atomic. The Brahmands are not really atomic. They are, Ashtavarana. They are massive formations, universes. They are like atomic. They are in the one. Rome is it's an analogy that is given. It's the, the follicle, the hair follicle. The one hair follicle is within that tiny little space. Infinite universes are there. Ananta Koti Brahmand. भगवान का ऐश्वर्य कैसा है? अनंत ऐश्वर्य. We cannot imagine. Imagination बंद हो जाता है. उपनिषद में लिखा है ना, ये तो वाच निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा. Upanishad is very clear. Mind, buddhi cannot reach there. So the Aishwarya buddhi is reverential buddhi. So this buddhi, this type of connection, devotional connection, is bhakti, no doubt. Shantarati is an intense bhakti. But it focuses on the governing aspects. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv, Asankhya Brahma, Vishnu, Shiv hai from Sri Krishna. This is the Vaishnava theology. Kitna Brahman, kitna Ishwarya. Is no end to all that. So the focus is on governing attributes rather than personal attribute. The personal attributes, Bhagwan ki jo leela hai and other things, we're aware of that. There's love for that. But the focus is not on that. The focus is on the majesty in Shantarati. Also, there are two more words here in this theology. That is the word Narayana and the word Paramatma. The name Narayana, mantra bhi hai, Bhagwan ka naam hai. So Narayana is what? They see Bhagwan as Narayana, the resting place of all beings and the maintainer of cosmic order. Narayan ka meaning hi hai, some of its meaning. All of the beings are resting within that one tattva, And that one tattva is within all. That is Narayana. And Paramatma, the witness in the heart who sanctions all actions, the witnessing consciousness. That is the Paramatma. So what is the difference between Narayana and Paramatma? There's no difference. So Tattva to Bhagwan, Bhagavad Tattva is only one. But these are ways to try to see the reality. That when we use the word Paramatma, that means the witness inside the Atma, Param Atma. And that is only one. That is the giver of the fruit of action. That is Paramatma. Or sometimes Ishvara is also called. A lot of names are there. Okay, so these are two names, right? So Narayana, so the one who has the Shantarati sees Bhagwan as Narayan. That all beings are within the Swarup of Shriman Narayan. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. In our Mahalakshmi Mandir here in Delaware, there is a beautiful jade murti. Jade ka murti banai. It's a green colored murti of Bhagwan Vishnu. A lot of the pujas are done there and things like that. You know, the Satyanarayan Katha and things like that are done over there. But when we do darshan, Narayan ka jo darshan karte, Bhagwan Narayan, Shriman Narayan, or even let's say Vishnu Narayan or Venkateshwar ji, wo sab Narayan ke swarup hai, right? With the 4 arms. Narayan ka jo darshan karte, Shriman Narayan, because Shri is always with Narayan. The bhakti is such that all reality, millions of universes and universes and universes and galaxies and things which you cannot even imagine, they're all in that murti. वो मूर्ति में पूरा है. Have you looked at it? That generally we do namaskar karte, darshan karte, थोड़ी pradikshana karte, and then maybe take a few names and that's all. That's the extent of our bhakti. No, not like that. That's fine, but not that. That's not good enough. भगवान विष्णु के जो सहस्त्र नाम है, understand each one of them. उनका ऐश्वर्य क्या है, उनका meaning क्या है, and then to take one flower at a time and offer it at the feet of Narayana, and then to see all beings, all animals, all beings, all plants, all devatas, everything inside that vigraha. And when that Shraddha opens, that Jnana opens, and then the mantra begins. भगवान नारायण का जो मंत्र है, ओम नमो नारायणाय, ओम नमो नारायण, नारायण के मंत्र है, ओम नमो नारायणाय, ओम नमो नारायणाय. So in the Shantarati, you can use Krishna mantra, but the worship is in the form of Narayan in Shantarati. Very interesting. And in terms of, and as Paramatma. So wherever the person looks, Bhakta moves away from the Murti, but there's no moving away from the Bhagavan, not at all. He sees a dog, a tree, a plant, a human being, anybody. First he sees Narayan, Paramatma. कि मेरे प्रभु उसमें है. This is शांत mind automatically will remain. शांति रहेगा. कैसे नहीं शांत रहेगा मन? ज्या जुए त्या राम जी बीजू न भासे रे, भात दे की भूले नहीं, अनुभव उजासे रे, अनुभवी आनंद मा गोविंद गावे रे. मुक्तानंद स्वामी का जो 4 padas are there, poems. It's so beautiful. How fantastic is this? When we see anybody, any body, anybody, any being, Shriman Narayan, उसको नमस्कार अंतर से. That doesn't mean you'll be going around bowing down to everybody like physically. It's एक वृत्ति है, एक दृष्टि है. It's पूज्य भाव. सब सृष्टि पूज्य बन जाती है शांत भाव में. हमारा ऐसा, do we have this भाव? Think about this point. अद्भुत बात है. And this keeps one free. It is a direct path into self-mastery, direct path into Siddhadasha, direct path into Ananda. So our bhakti remains unobstructed. Maya doesn't obstruct anymore because we don't see anybody's faults. We may be aware deficiencies are there, but that is play of Maya. Within each being is Parabrahma, Paramatma, everywhere. Never forget that. To forget that is Maya, is Ajnan. To remember that is Bhakti, Jnana, is Vairagya also. To see and to feel like an X-ray vision into the Paramatma. You could have a person who is the most heinous person you've ever seen, but the person is living. Why? Due to who? Because Narayan is present there. Kisme nahi hai? Bhagwan Narayan is in everyone and everything, and everything and everyone is in the body of Narayan. This is Vishishtadvaita. Ramanujacharya, Shripad Ramanujacharya. आचार्य, बहुत बड़े आचार्य हो गए. This is our sadhana for today. भगवान की मूर्ति का दर्शन करते, I'm just saying Narayan, but you could be Shiv Ji, it could be Mata Ji, Devi Ji, जो है, हनुमान जी, आपके जो इष्ट है, no problem. When we are engaged in upasana of Ishta Devata, when we're engaged in upasana through mantras, through stotras, through bhajans, etc., Bhagwan के साथ link करते हैं, when we're engaged in that upasana, there is the shraddha, faith, that all beings, all of reality, all of creation is inside every part of that murti. इसको कहते हैं स्वरूप निष्ठा and Aishwarya Buddhi. Take Mirabai. See, she, this entire Aishwarya Buddhi and all what we're talking about today is in the Madhurya Rasa, which is the Adi Rasa. We'll get to that later on. Maybe I don't know whenever we'll get to that. But भगवान के साथ जो प्रेम हो जाता है, इसमें प्रेम है, of course. But it's a reverential love. It's like, wow, how amazing you are. You're so beyond. वो जो पर तत्व है, अक्षरात परतः परः. The par se par, like this, beyond, transcendental. There's a puja bhav. There's a continuous reverential bhav. And that is because there are three pillars of perception. One is swatantra. Bhagwan kaise wo swatantra hai. Bhagvat tattva is the only swatantra tattva. Swatantra. Swa means one's own independence. Swatantra. And the other word is paratantra. Everything that exists in reality, in consciousness, everywhere, including all of us, that is paratantra. And Bhagwan Swayam, Bhagvat Tattva, ऐसा ही तत्व है, that is Swatantra. Swatantra. Yes, the Bhakta does reach Swatantrata, but always remains Paratantra to Paramatma. Swatantra from everything else. Becomes like God. Yes, that's true too. So there's three pillars. Swatantra, Bhagwan is Swatantra. Bhagwan is Sarvagya or Sarvagnya in Sanskrit. We can say Sarvagnya, omniscient, knows everything. It is called Ek Kala Vichinna. Technically, this is, I think, a Gujarati term. It's used in some of the advanced Swaminarayan literatures. It is called Ek Kala Vichinna. Meaning at one moment, like our one moment, God is beyond all moments. At any given one moment, Paramatma is Sarvagna, knows everything about everyone at all times, past, present, future, omniscience. It is called omniscient. That is God. That is called Sarvagnata or Sarvagnya. Sarvagnya. That is the second pillar of perception. This is the perception that the Shantarati Bhakta has. And the third is Sarva Shaktiman, omnipotent. These are the omni qualities from Christianity. Same you can see here. सर्वशक्तिमान, सब कुछ वो ही करते हैं, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. Like this, God has all power, requires no assistance to accomplish His will. वो सर्वतंत्र समर्थ है. प्रभु पलमा चाहे सो करे. It's a beautiful bhajan that is there. कुछ भी कर सकते हैं वो. That is called सर्वशक्तिमान. So this rati, this bhav, this love is opened through this type of Aishwarya Buddhi insight. भगवान नारायण है, भगवान परमात्मा है, भगवान सर्वतंत्र है, भगवान स्वतंत्र है, भगवान स्वतंत्र है, भगवान सर्वज्ञ है, भगवान और परमात्मा कैसे है? सर्वशक्तिमान है. And because of that, because of this type of intense adoration, reverence, and love, it is reverential love, the bhakta becomes Atmaram. Write this word down. Atmaram. A-T-M-A-R-A-M-A. Atmaram banna hai. Not in an egotistical way. Atmaram means what? भगवान वो स्थिति भक्तों को देते हैं. Bhagwan himself is Atmaram, satisfied in his own self. Atma means self, Atman, and Atma and Aram. Atma, Aram. Aram is rest, enjoyment, like that. That's the meaning. God finds all pleasure just within himself. Atmanne vatmana tushtas tasya pragna pratishtha. You know this. So that sthiti that Bhagavan has, total satisfaction within oneself, that sthiti is realized when we realize the Atma Jivan Mukta sthiti. Hum bhi Atmaram ban sakte hain. So this is another word to keep in mind. Atmaram. Atmaram is where blessing, or because of the heightened connection with Paramatma, the devotee has become fearless, doesn't want anything at all, is not trapped inside the Panch Vishayas, the Vishaya Ras versus Bhakti Ras, and all those problems are not there at all. Why? Because that Bhakta sees Paramatma as Purna. भगवान कैसे? वो पूर्ण है, पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम. पुरुषोत्तम है और वो पूर्ण है. Purna means total, full, completely full, endlessly full. Purnamidam, right? In the Ishavasya Upanishad. Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnameva Vishishyate. It's beautiful. Bhagwan Purna hai. This bhav opens intensely from inside. Bhagwan is perfect. The perfect being, a perfect being lacking nothing, perfection. Total perfection. We get glimpses of some really attractive and very different, very beautiful scenes and things like that, right, in the nature. That is just a glimpse of that original perfection and beauty. Sarva Saundarya. It's amazing. Bhagwan is the only thing that exists. That is the highest vision. From a tattva point of view, this Shantarati has to do with tattvik jnana. ये सब तत्व का ज्ञान है. And this tattva jnana comes from the Gita. Then Bhagavatam goes into these other types of rasas later on, in particularly RAS PANCHADHAYI. So हमारे अंतःकरण में जिसको ममत्व कहते हैं ना, possessiveness, this vanishes. It vanishes completely. And it vanishes in the light of that Param Aishwarya. भगवान का ऐश्वर्य इतना अनंत है, और and by कृपा, as devotion increases, भगवान वो ऐश्वर्य बताते हैं. The devotee doesn't want to see that actually. Pure devotee is not concerned with Aishwaryas and all. But Bhagwan, I mean, they're aware of the Aishwaryas, but they're not wanting to necessarily see that. But when Akhanda Vritti comes about, like your just unbroken connection with Bhagwan, when that opens up, by grace, by Krupa, this opens up. The Aishwarya is opened up. And if the Bhakta has a sankalpa that I want to see the Atman, Atma कैसा है, ईश्वर कैसे है, भगवान के धाम कैसे, वो सब देख सकते हैं. वचनामृत गरुड़ा प्रथम 1, in the very first paragraph only, second paragraph, this is discussed. So it's not theoretical Aishwarya, it is actual Aishwarya that can be seen when one is in Akhanda Vritti. When one has unbroken connection through the scriptures, bhajan, kirtans, stotras, mantras, etc., in the Shantarati, the Aishwarya Buddhi is there, and through that Aishwarya Buddhi there's tremendous bhakti, and Bhagwan kya karte, wo darshan dete. Definitely. A point comes when God reveals himself. Definitely he will reveal. Unko chodna nahi. Maybe you don't want to ask for anything. The pure devotees don't ask for Aishwaryas, or they don't want to even see all these cosmic things and all that. But if you do want to see it, if you want to see galaxies and stuff like that, if you want to see different planets and whatever, different lokas and all that, or Bhagwan ke saath akhand vritti hai, you have unbroken. If you want to see those, Bhagwan ka jo Aishwarya hai, if you want to see that, you will see that. Immediately you see that. Why? Because that is the power of Akhanda Vritti. Bhagwan ka saath jitna connection hota hai, if the bhakta makes a sankalpa, that gets fulfilled. इसीलिए that's why we say बड़े-बड़े संतों का जो संकल्प है वो भगवान पूरा करते हैं. It's not any egotistical thing. This appears. गोलोक, वैकुंठ धाम, अनंत प्रकार के सब धाम है. If you want to see different lokas and all that, you have to sit for dhyan or भगवान के साथ link लगा, you keep a link, unbroken link. And you keep an unbroken link and establish an unbroken link, Radha Krishna will appear in front of you. They will appear to you in your dhyan. They will appear in different ways. Definitely they appear. They definitely come. उनको recognize करना चाहिए. That's all. It's recognize कि भगवान ही है सब जगह. That's a भाव. और भगवान स्वयं आते हैं. The people say, why is it so difficult to see God? It's not difficult to see God. It is difficult to let go of the foolishness in our own minds. And that's also not difficult. Our ego doesn't want to let all that go. Otherwise, if it lets that go and keeps its attention on Paramatma, Akhanda Vritti, unbroken Vritti, no issues. Bhagwan स्वयं आते. Then इसको किसी को बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. Cannot even explain this to anybody. वो दिव्य अनुभव जिसको कहते हैं, वो आते हैं. They come and then you continue with your life and continue doing what you have to do. Bhagwan gives a little glimpse to encourage us that you're doing correctly, you're on the right path. Glimpses मिलते हैं. वो अखंडित ऐसा नहीं रहता generally, otherwise you'll be in samadhi, you'll not be able to live in this world. So we have to live in this world as if you're in samadhi. That is called Jnana Samadhi. Those glimpses are just divine glimpses that Bhagwan gives to bhaktas to encourage that you're in Bhagwan darshan hai, unko ek anand hai. Bhagwan ka darshan is the greatest ananda, but that same darshan remains in the world of Prakriti also. This is called Shantarati. These are all dimensions of Shantarati. बहुत सुंदर बात है. इसमें ऐश्वर्य बुद्धि आ जाती है. There is reverence, bowing down again. People, I have seen sadhus, even many devotees, भगवान की जो मूर्ति है, मंदिरों में जाते हैं, might do it home also. 100 prostrations daily. प्रदक्षिणा करते हैं, 108 circambulations प्रदक्षिणा. कितना महिमा भगवान के साथ, वो कौन है, कितने, that bhav is there. That bhav is there. So these are different rasas, and we can definitely progress in them beautifully. There's a lot more we can certainly say about all of this, but without over-analyzing it too much. These are the key points of the Shanta Rati, Shanta Ras. There's a lot of Tattva Vichar. इसमें Tattva Vichar भी बहुत है. Tattva Vichar. It is less Leela Vichar, more Tattva Vichar. These are two more words if you want to write these down. And we'll stop with this today. Tattva ka gyan hai. 24 tattvas, the Atma Tattva, the Brahma Tattva, Ishvaro kaise hai. It's a Tattvik gyan, like scientific, but it's spiritual science. It's a Tattva ki baat hai. So the mental activity of the bhakta, वो तत्व ज्ञान में बहुत प्रवीण हो जाते हैं. लीला का भी ज्ञान है, लीला चरित्रस, but that is not emphasized. Emphasis is on the tattva vichar, consideration of ontological truth. That is called tattva vichar. Leela vichar is the consideration or to think over the divine pastimes. वो लीला विचार. So there's 2 points here, तत्व विचार and लीला विचार. So the Shanta Bhakta is in tattva vichar predominantly. वो भी आनंद कर, the other rasas are there also. It's not like sectioned off, but this is predominant. All right, so these are the points here. What is our sadhana for today? Very simple sadhana, very beautiful sadhana. किसी को भी देखते हैं, किसी के भी साथ बात करते हैं. Before seeing that person as that person, see the presence of Paramatma. That is called Tattva Vichar, Tattva Drishti. And take the name Ram, Krishna, Shiv, Radha. Jo name, holy name, take one name, one time. When we see anybody, any being, Bhagwan ka isme astitva hai. Our connection remains. This is called Paramatma Darshan. Yes. It is a sadhana. It is a very powerful, divine sadhana. And in doing so, the other 9 forms of devotion, they continue. And so the link continues, our activities continue, but in each experience in the waking state, there is the realization that every experience is due to the presence of Parabrahma, Paramatma. उनका presence नहीं है, कोई अनुभवी नहीं हो सकता. It's not possible. It's not possible. Without light, there cannot be any perception of the objects of the world. It's like that. The light that is present, that is Divya Prakash, Atma ka jo prakash hai, that is lighting up our anubhav. ये तत्व की बात हो गई. वो आत्मा का जो प्रकाश, आत्मा प्रकाशमान है, निराकार है, इसमें परब्रह्म परमात्मा साक्षी बैठे हैं. आत्मा का भी तत्व है वो. वचनामृत गरुड़ मध्य 13. तो भगवान का जो तत्व का जो दर्शन है वो कैसे होता है? हमारे अंतकरण में होता है. इन द डेप्थ ऑफ मेडिटेशन, इन द डेप्थ ऑफ अखंड वृत्ति. And even the akhanda vritti is there, activity continues, waking state, etc. Our day-to-day activity continues, but the difference is it is called Gnyan Samadhi. It is as if you're in Samadhi, but you're still doing all action. But there is no Rag, Dvesh, Klesh, Mera, Tera, ye to nahi hai, that's long gone. And not only that, there is steadiness, harmony, peace, that's also there. And of course, on top of that, there's equanimity, balance. Somebody praises, somebody blames, somebody kuch bhi chal raha hai. You are interacting with dharma, but unaffected. That is vairagya. Aisi sab kitni sthiti hai. Think about this. So all of this is combined together. Inside. So Shantarati, one who is established in Shantarati, is a जीवन मुक्त. वो जीवन मुक्त बन गए, वो मुक्त स्थिति में आ गए. और अनुभव कैसा है जीवन में? आनंद, आनंद, आनंद का अनुभव. It's the same person eating the same food, seeing the same, having this similar interaction, but the internal realization is opened up, has opened up. Then one pierces through Maya. The veil of Maya is pierced through completely. And in that piercing through, the Tattva Darshan hota hai. Tattva Darshi bhi. This is actually in the Gita, these words. Tattva Darshi bhi. ऐसे जो Tattva Darshi जो महासंत है, पुरुष है, पुरुष स्त्री कोई भी है, a human being who has the darshan of the tattvas. It's called Tattva Darshi. और हम भी बन सकते, if that is our goal, कि जीव, what is जीवात्मा, what is ईश्वर कोटि, ब्रह्मा विष्णु शिव कौन है, ब्रह्मांड कैसे चलते हैं, भगवान का धाम कैसे, भगवान का विग्रह क्या है, स्वरूप क्या है, all this from a tattva point of view, not so much from a leela point of view. Leela is there also, but that is much more secondary. Primary is tattva in Shantarati. So then you would go through Vedanta scriptures and the bhashyas and all. A person would be, this is like more Gnan Marg. It is Gnan Marg, but it is connected to Paramatma in Bhakti. So that is why there is Tattva Vichar. To be immersed in Tattva Vichar is a big thing. Scientists, researchers, they're immersed in scientific Tattva Vichar. Okay, so there's many more points, but this is the crux, the heart of this Shantarati. And इसमें शांति, tremendous शांति है. It's just like fantastic शांति. पूरा मन, internal mind has become absolutely still. Not dull. It has become शांत. शांत बन स्वरूप में, भगवान के स्वरूप में, by connecting with स्थिरता आ गई. There is no fear, worry, tension, no polarities, dvandatitam gagana sadrusham. There's tattva vichar going on. Vichar, we're going to have thinking, it's going to be tattva vichar. And we do our duties, our activities. We can see the play of Maya. The play of Maya is easily seen because of the grace of Paramatma. Bhagavan कृपा करते हैं भक्त पर, वो माया दिखाते कि माया का स्वरूप क्या है. And one is not stuck in that at all. It doesn't impact the individual. Maya ka swarup dekh sakte hai the more we are connected with Bhagavan. And we can also, by the krupa of Paramatma, recognize why Maya is there, what it's all about, how the binding features work. वो सब ज्ञान भी आ जाता है. And from that there is liberation. गुणातीत, 3 गुणों से ऊपर की बात है वो. Right, so these are all the points. It's already 9:09. Let's stop here for now, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. We'll open it up for Q&A in just a moment after the closing mantra. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Hrim Swaha.